Hello and welcome to the Drawhunter. I am your charming host, Kevin Cleary, and this is the only soccer gambling podcast where we don't pick any winners. We hunt for the stalemate. We hunt for the result that pays better than that win bet, the draw. Me, I like to bet the draw because they happen a lot. I don't know if you've been paying attention to soccer over the last 70 years, but 30% of all pro matches in soccer end in a draw. That's across all the leagues and international competitions. So this podcast is about trying to figure out when and where they will occur. One, we don't want to let our win bets get burned by a draw. And two, maybe we want to win a little more than that win bet will pay. If this is your first time listening to the show, soccer bets at a sports book are settled on results after regulation time. 90 minutes plus the stoppage time. Boom. So if a game goes into overtime or penalty kicks or anything like that, that doesn't apply to our draw bet and makes it a very valid option, which is why they're there, which is why the bookmakers feature them in every game. The games that we talk about on this show are the hidden value draws, where the market is pricing outcomes too heavily towards the favorites or volatility. These are the games where the parity pays off for us. And like I said, even if you want to bet on winners, running down the games through this kind of perspective is still a valuable handicapping tool. And if you're handicapping and betting on soccer matches, you should look for all the information that you can before you place your bets. And if you're listening to the Drawhunter podcast, congratulations. You're already ahead of the curve. So let's get into the games and the picks for this weekend, February 7th and 8th. These fixtures that I'm about to talk about combined low scoring averages, balanced possession rates, maybe some injury disruptions, and historical draw frequency, and market pricing that combine together to give us the contrarian value that we look for when we're making a draw bet. So first up, in Portugal, we've got Estrela Amadora versus Santa Clara. This is a home game for Amadora. The home team is plus 185. Santa Clara is the quote-unquote favorite at plus 165. The draw is plus 190. And like I always tell you, anytime you see a draw bet that is priced under plus 200, Las Vegas and the bookmakers are saying, boy, there's a real likelihood that this might actually happen. Ball possession rates between these two teams are actually very, very tight. Amadora's got the ball about 47% of the time. Santa Clara's got it at 47.9% of the time. And when it comes to the goals for and goals against, Estrela Amadora is 24 goals scored for the season so far, 37 goals conceded. Santa Clara is 16 goals scored and 25 conceded, so they're both really underwater here, okay? But the last three games between these two teams, well, 2 out of the 3 were draws. Actually, the last 2 games between these two teams were draws. They were both 0-0 at the end of the regulation. The third game, the last game that they played in the last 2 years, was 1-0, and Santa Clara took that one home. This is a classic Portuguese mid-table equilibrium. Similar quality, modest attacks. They're both underwater with their goals scored and goals conceded, and a market that already prices the game as close to a coin flip as possible. Okay, so that's our first game for the weekend. Amadora versus Santa Clara in Portugal. Now let's go over to Germany in the Bundesliga, one of my favorite leagues, because last year, 33% of all the games in the Bundesliga ended in a draw. They actually led all of the big European leagues with the most draws. And we've got Mainz 05 versus Augsburg playing this weekend. Mainz is plus 135. They're the home favorite. Augsburg is plus 215. They are the road dog. And the draw is plus 225. Mainz has the ball about 50% of the time. Augsburg has it about 47% of the time. Historically, this is a good draw fixture Both sides are mid to low scoring with defenses that are better organized than their attacks are creative. This is one of the more old school Bundesliga grind spots this weekend. We got two mid-table sides, similar quality, limited attacking punch. Market prices reflect a near coin flip feel, and I think the 1-1 is in the script here. That's a really good shot at that. If you want to bet, I would bet the under in this game. I would bet 1-1 as a final score if you're betting exact scores, and of course, then I would bet the draw. So let's go over to Italy in the Serie A. We've got Fiorentina versus Torino. This is always a fun game. Fiorentina is the favorite at home. They're 120, plus 120. The away team, Torino, is plus 260. The draw is plus 215. Fiorentina has the ball about 55% of the time. Torino has the ball about 50% of the time. Fiorentina's got a decent attack. Occasionally, they're exposed defensively. Torino, they're low event specialists, these guys. They're often involved in 0-0, 1-1, 1-0 type games, okay? And the Serie A meetings between these two are very tight. There are several 1-1s and narrow wins either way in their recent history. This is one of the best draw profiles on the slate this weekend, I think. Fiorentina's possession versus Torino's low event defensive structure should make for a good draw match. Torino are very good at dragging games into narrow scorelines, and Fiorentina can struggle to break down organized blocks. The price of this draw is actually kind of generous relatively to how often Torino land on 1-1, especially this season. Now let's go up to England in the Premier League. We've got Brighton versus Crystal Palace. Brighton is actually the favorite. They're minus 120. Crystal Palace is plus 350. The draw is plus 275. Brighton has the ball about almost 60% of the time. Palace has the ball a little under 50% of the time. Brighton is a high event score and concede kind of team. Palace is a low event with an inconsistent attack. This is one of the most draw-heavy rivalries in England. There have been, I couldn't even count them all, multiple 1-1s over the last 10 years. Not that we need to go back that far to establish a pattern, but this derby is historically a draw machine. No matter how good either team is during the season, Brighton and Crystal Palace, Brighton will dominate the ball, but then they'll struggle to break down compact blocks. Palace likes to sit deep and counter. The tactical script between these two almost always lands at 1-1, which is what I'm betting this weekend. Let's go down to Serie A. We've got Lecce versus Udinese. And this is a home game, I should say, for Lecce. They're plus 185. Udinese is plus 160, so they're actually the favorite here. The draw is plus 205. Ball possession rates, they're both really close. They're both about 47%. When it comes to goals scored and goals allowed, both are very low-scoring, grindy sides. There are multiple 0-0s and 1-1s in their recent history. This is a classic Serie A relegation zone equilibrium game. Neither team has the firepower to separate from the other team. Let's go over to Ligue 1, and we've got Le Havre versus Strasbourg, and this is a home game for Le Havre. They're plus 185. Strasbourg is plus 160. The draw is plus 205. Ball possession rates are both about 48%, give or take a percentage point. They're both low-scoring teams. Their head-to-head history is historically very tight, and this is probably the best League One draw candidate of the weekend, and so that's why we've got them on our schedule here. Let's go back to Portugal. We've got Nacional versus Cassiopeia. This is a home game for Nacional. They are plus 165. Cassiopeia is plus 185. The draw is 205. Ball possession rates, they're both about 48%, give or take a percentage point. They're both low-scoring teams. They've got tight margins. They've got several draws when they play each other in both divisions as they go up and down. And this is a classic Portuguese mid-table draw profile. So those are the games for this weekend. It's a short episode. We didn't have a lot of time to get this one out to you this weekend. However, my pick of the week, I'm going with that Amadora Santa Clara game. I really like that game. My number 2 pick would probably be the Brighton versus Crystal Palace. So those would be my 2 picks of the week, let's call it. That's it for this episode of the Drawhunter. I am still your charming host, Kevin Cleary. New episodes of this show drop twice a week. Mondays for all the midweek action. Usually it's on Thursdays for the weekend slate, but we're coming out on Friday this week because of scheduling issues. Please subscribe to our show. You can do it at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts or wherever you found this podcast. If you have any questions, comments, complaints, email us at drawhunterpodcast@gmail.com. From the entire Drawhunter team, thank you for listening, and remember, there is no stopping it. Draws will happen. Gambling involves risk. Please gamble responsibly. This show is for informational and entertainment purposes only. No guarantees are made regarding results or financial gain. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, please call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. You must be of legal age to participate in gambling activities. Check your local laws and regulations before placing any bets. This podcast was made by humans.